I just wanted to have a bit of a chat about warranties and promoting products. So I promote products that I've used, and I'll give you a fair and honest opinion on what I think of the products. I don't have a lot of control over customer service. However, if you do buy a product that I have promoted, if you jump in the description and you buy this kit through my affiliate with them, I will get a kickback. The idea is, if you receive that product and it's faulty or something's not right on it, it's been damaged or whatever, and you're not getting the customer service that you feel like you should be getting, you've got to put it back on me. Let me do your dirty work. If you're not getting the service that you feel like you should be getting, and I've promoted that product to you, put it back on me, because I've got a little bit more influence over these companies and how they make decisions, because they've approached me to promote their product. Now, if they're not giving good customer service, then I can also promote that. I get a different customer service than what customers that come in from online are going to get, because these guys want me to be happy so that I promote their products, that's just how the world works. But if you as a consumer buy this product and for whatever reason you're not getting the customer service that you think you should be getting, put it back on the influencer that promoted that product. I'm happy to do that, and that's part of me saying, hey, I'm promoting this product because I feel, it's a good thing. But if you get a different experience and you're not getting that customer service, then I need to know that, because I don't want to be promoting any company, whether it be Oneleaf, Lower Boots, Olight, I don't care who it is, Sicker Gear. If you're not getting good customer service, then that puts it back on me, and I don't want to be any part of any company that isn't looking after their customers. So if you do go through the process of buying through my affiliate links, any product that I promote, whether it's the laser bore sighter, this scope, the clip-on, a pair of Lower Boots, Sicker Gear over in NZ, Olight, and you're not getting that customer service, I want to know about it, because I only want to promote companies that have good customer service and products that are of good value. And if I'm not hearing that feedback, then I'm assuming that it's all good. But yeah, obviously every now and again you're going to get a product that's faulty or damaged from transport or whatever. If you're not getting the customer service that you deserve, get on to me and I'll sort it out for you, because I've got a fair bit more weight behind me. I can actually, I can bring companies up, but I can also bring them down. So anyway, if you're having trouble with a company and you've brought a product because of my influence, put it back on me. I'll do the dirty work for you, and I'll make sure that you get a satisfactory outcome from that company. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there so that people have got confidence in the products that I'm talking about and confidence in me. If it's not working out for you, make sure you let me know, because I can more than likely get it sorted out for you pretty quick. Reload. I reckon you're good to go there. Rightio, we've got another scope from Oneleaf to do a review on. This is the RapidFire 312 by 56. Now, if you've been through some other content, you will have seen that I did a review on their digital day-night vision scope, the NV100. So dedicated night vision, dedicated digital. So without batteries, this thing doesn't operate, whereas this one is an optical scope, has a power range from 3 to 12 optically, 30mm tube, 56mm objective. It has parallax adjustment from 15 yards all the way through to infinity, and it has quite a fine reticle with MOA hash marks, and it is illuminated in 11 different intensity levels. But one of the cool things about this one is you can actually buy it in a kit with the NV100 clip-on day-night vision. So basically, just go in here, roll it around, turn it on. Now you've got a scope capable of night vision. So we're going to be testing it as an optical scope with a tracking test, clarity, that sort of thing, repeatability. But we'll also be testing the night vision clip-on. So yeah, that's pretty much all the specs, but I'll run through some of the operations of the clip-on. The scope's pretty self-explanatory. It's the same as any other scope that you'd buy out there. But anyway, we'll get in the field, we'll do the testing of the scope. We might go chase some rabbits and foxes with the night vision clipped on. And I'll run you through some of the menu settings that you can have on the night vision setup. But also in this video, I'm going to throw in a review of the CVLife laser bore sighter kit. So I'll do everything from like your .177 rifles right through to shotguns. This kit's got a whole bunch of different fittings there that you can add to it, change them out, and it's pretty cool. And since as I'm setting up a new scope, it just felt right to sort of do it all together. So basically, once you've got the right fitting set up, this one's on a 223 rem, you just put it in, turn it on, and you're ready to go. And then you can align your scope to the laser dot. Now what I've found with that is, what I did is I went through some rifles that were obviously already sighted in physically, and I put them in and just took reference of where the dot was and where the scope was aiming compared to the dot at quite close range, like say 10 yards. And what I've found is the dot is lower than where the reticle horizontal line is. And I've sort of made a rough measurement over several rifles, and it seems to be about that 35-40mm, only at 10 yards, lower than that horizontal reticle, and it is in line. So if I can get it in line and just a little bit low, I think this rifle will just be straight on paper. So hopefully that'll save a little bit of mucking around of eyeballing through the bore and trying to align it that way, which is sort of the old school way. So this is going to save a bit of time, might even save a little bit of ammo if it's nice and accurate. But yeah, we'll be testing that along the way. Now I have already set up the scope, leveled it, and all the rest of it. So all I've got to do now is basically do the bore sight using the laser bore sighter, and we're going to be good to go and have a shot. All right, so we're just going to flick on the laser, and we're going to adjust the scope. Now, mind you, this scope has got a very fine adjustment, 1/8 of an inch at 100 yards. So it's twice as many clicks than a normal, well not a normal scope, but than this sort of average scope. So let's have a look here. I need to point it at my thing. And geez, we're pretty close already. We go across. Now it's always the opposite way. There. Alright, so I've got it online with my laser dot, left and right. Yep, a little bit more. Left and right's good. And what I've done is I've got the reticle aiming about that much higher. This is only the width of my shed, so it's probably only 6 meters away. But that's just the average of where all my sighted in rifles were. So I'm guessing that that will be very close to spot on at 100 yards. So when we go to shoot, I'm just going to go straight to 100 and see if I can hit an A4 sheet of paper. And if I can, that'll put us on the money pretty close, and we can adjust from there. Now you can set these back to 0. Just need a little screwdriver. Pop out the screw, roll it around to 0. That is as simple as it gets for the laser bore sighter. Pretty cool little bit of gear. Check them out. There'll be a link in the description. More than likely a discount code. So yeah, I reckon this is for the money. It's a very cheap little Christmas gift for someone. But just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a pretty good little product to have. And I kind of wish I had one of these a long time ago, because you know, staring down the barrel of your bore and then adjusting your scope, yeah, it gets you there, but yeah, I reckon this is going to get you there a lot quicker. Anyway, let's throw on the clip on and I'll show you a couple of things that you need to do to, so it has got a keyway, 45 degrees, and it goes around, and it has a little clip here and it clicks in. Now what you're going to have to do to use night vision, you have to pull off the caps, because you need your IR torch to be able to shine over the top. And that scope cap's going to, you know, I suppose you could run the scope cap to the side if you wanted to. I usually don't run scope caps. So anyway, that's where your battery is. This is your little IR light. You've got your menu on the front side here. I'll give you some close-ups of that while we're talking about it. But basically, yeah, you can just turn on the menu from the little button here. Now, once it gets started up, you can focus the reticle with this little adjuster here. Get it nice and in focus. And then you've obviously got the diopter adjustment here for the scope, but also at the back here, you've got another diopter adjustment for the screen menu, the menu screen. So that'll bring that all into nice sharp focus. And that's about it really. It's quite a simple little menu. There's not a lot of buttons to get confused with. You can record this. It does have a little micro SD card, and it does come with it. And you can change the IR settings, you know, your brightness controls and all the rest of it just on the back panel here. Hit record your shots through the scope. Yeah, and then you can use a little cord that's supplied to download the footage just to a computer or something. It comes with a different thing at the back here, so you can have longer little scope tube thing. Obviously comes with the flip up cuts front and rear, and it also has a couple of spare O-rings, which I was trying to think where they go, but anyway, they've got them for something. It might be in there, I reckon. Yeah, anyway, so we'll test this more in the dark, because that's what it's there for. So let's go down the field. We'll sight this rifle in to start with, now that we've done the laser bore sighting process. So we'll sight it in, get it shooting smack on at 100. Now this rifle's capable of half MO8 all day long, so there's going to be no excuses for this scope to not perform, for this rifle not to perform with this scope on it. And we can do a tracking test, we'll do a box test, and just see how the clicks actually add up at 100 yards on an MOA target, and if it returns to 0 after tracking right, up, left and down. Yeah, so let's go down and do that. That'll be the fun part, and then we'll talk about how it performed.
Righto, just for a reference, that's where the laser beam from the bore sighter is pointing, and that's where I've got the crosshairs centered. So on line vertically, but just, yeah, probably about 35 mil high at this distance, which is only about 5-6 metres.
Rightio, yeah, it's the middle part of the day and it's quite a sunny day, so we've got a little bit of heat, heat wave distortion. So anyway, I've set the parallax. It seems to be, compared to the dot, it's running about 75 yards instead of 100, but if you've had enough to do with scopes, you'll know that those increments on there are only an estimate. It has a lot to do with how you have it adjusted on the diopter as well. So I'm just going to try. We're bore sighted in with the laser bore sighter at 6 metres. Let's see if we can get on paper A4 at 100. So I've got about 4 inches left and right that we can miss by. Not sure where it went. Because I got that bit of heat shimmer, I'm going to walk down and have a look.
Not really the result I was looking for. Hasn't even hit the cardboard. So I'll yeah. I'll do a traditional bore sight and see if I can get any better that way.
Alright, well that didn't work, did it? Oh wow. Left and right's perfect, but we're miles out up and down. So maybe that difference that I had on the elevation is our problem. Now this scope is sitting quite high because it's 56mm objective. So it'd be interesting to see when I put the bore sighter back in where it lines up back in the shed, because it's completely different to the other rifles. Righto, let's see how we go with the traditional bore sight. Righto, I'm on the paper. Elevation's spot on, and our windage is 2 inches right. So we've got to go 2 inches left. Now this is 1/8 clicks, so 8 clicks for an inch. We need to go 16 clicks left. I like to go at least 1 or 2 more and then come back just to take a bit of the backlash out if there is any in it. Now the clicks on this are quite soft, but they are, you can feel them, but you could get a bit carried away and skip a few if you're not careful. But we'll take one more shot. do another one. Right, I can't actually see them, so I think they're in the colour. So I'll go down and have another look at those. Rightio, just down at the target here. You can see my initial shot there from the traditional bore sight through the bore. So it got me on paper at 100 yards. So we'll have to check where that bore sight is aiming now when I get back to the shed, just to see if it's the height difference in the scope to the barrel compared to my other rifles, because I don't have any 56s. Objectives on any of my other rifles are all like 44s and that, so maybe that's the difference. But our windage left and right was spot on. I didn't have to adjust that. And then I just shot that 3-shot group there. Now that was 16 clicks across, which I reckon we can probably come back to 3 clicks. So it's about 3/4 of an inch at 1/8. So 1/8, 1/4, oh no, maybe 5 or 6 clicks. But what I'll do is I'll put another little aiming point here, and then we'll run a box test around this target just to see how it tracks. So I might just smack 3 at this little square here when I move it back. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We'll get it sighted in Mickey Mouse, and then we'll run a box test. Alright, so I'm going to come up 1 click, and I want to go right 4. I'll go 1 and back 1. Now, don't be too concerned that the clicks didn't work out yet, because I have got a lot of heat wave, which could quite comfortably be moving when my bullets strike in between groups. So we'll just get it smack on, and then when we do the box test, that'll tell us whether or not clicks are 1/8 or not, because I'll just shoot 2 at each setting that I move it, and it'll tell us how far it's moving, left, right, up, down. Anyway, let's get it dialed right in to start with. So I'll go for that bottom square, bottom right. That was a good shot. Nearly went in the box again. I didn't think it picked it up, but it did. Oh, Chica, she's a bit too smooth. Oh, I reckon I can see 1 bullet hole, but I'll run down there and check it. Alright, as you can see, it has shot to the left still, so maybe I did need to go that 6 clicks. So it's an extra 2 clicks. Still feels like it wants to go a little bit further than that, doesn't it? 1/8, so 2 clicks is only a 1/4 inch. Kind of feels like 4. I'm going to go 4, and that'll be 8 back. Now we might be running into a bit of a problem here because I only took 1 shot. We don't know whether that group was, if I had shot a group, whether it would have grouped right or left. and we just took it for granted that we needed to move across that 2 inches, which we did, but maybe the rest of this group was going to group to the left, which has moved it over there. So we're just going to go off this group here. I'm going to come back another 3 clicks, and I think that'll be good enough. I'll come back 3 clicks, and I'll do 3 shots here. Then I'm going to move it across to try and hit it in this square, but I'll still be aiming here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 inches times 8. It's 40 clicks. Right, we're going to do 40 clicks right, shoot 2. 40 clicks up, shoot 2. 40 clicks left, shoot 2. 40 clicks down, and I'll shoot 2. And we'll already have 3 shot group there, so we'll end up with a 5 shot group here. 2, 2, and 2, and we'll just see how that box runs out and see if it's nice and square. And but just remember, I'm always aiming here. I'm only adjusting the reticle over. So let's go and see how that tracks, eh? And what I'll do next is I'll put up a new target, and we'll test the hash marks, which are meant to be MOA on a reticle, and we'll just aim off left and right, up and down, and just see if what they say the reticle marks are equal to work out on paper at 100. We'll start this box test. Do 3 at the square, then I'm going to move it 40 clicks to the right. Alright, 40 clicks, here we go. $40. Gonna get 2 more. And back 2. Alright. 2 at this, aiming at the same black square, but the scope's been moved now, so looks about right. Alright, 40 up. Need a 10 shot Maggie, don't I? Oh no, aiming at the same square, we've still got the same 40 clicks right, but now we're also 40 clicks up. So we should be top right hand corner of this target. Which we are. Same hole, those 2 bullets. Right, let's go left. 40. 20. 41, 42. Back 1, back 2. It's just a little habit I've got into. Now, when I got this scope, I also ran the dials almost to max each way a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times. It's a lot of twisting, and what that is just settling all those gears in. They're brand new from the manufacturer. They've never really been played with. It's a good idea just to run all the dials left and right, up and down, half a dozen times each, and that just sort of settles everything in. Make sure that, you know, those click adjustments are sort of, you know, any little sharp edges or something are just all married in together. I learnt that a little while ago, and it seems to help scopes track really well. So anyway, we'll go again. So top left hand corner now, they should be striking. Which they are. A lot of heat wave down there. Right, we're going to drop it down 40. 20. 20. So 40. 1, 2, back 2. All right, we're going to finish off this group at the bottom. Now, if it's tracked well, we should have a reasonably neat 5-shot group. Now, it's not. This rifle's not grouping like at Hannon when I've got no heat wave, because my my target that I'm aiming at is actually just moving, so my aim point can't be precise as it would be if I was shooting with no heat wave, but it's still shooting well under MOA. So let's put these two in there and see if we can come up with a nice 5-shot group after tracking around 40, 80, 120, 160 clicks. The heat wave's really bad right now. My reticle is literally moving halfway off that 1-inch square just with the wave. So we'll go and have a look. Not making any excuses, but from what I can see, it's tracked really well. So we put 3 in here initially. Now I can't tell you which 3 they were, but that is, you know, what, around about MOA or slightly under. So we moved across 40 clicks, which should have been 5 inches. So if we take this line here as the center of our group, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't really ask for much better than that. Our elevation did change a tiny touch, but that could be just from the heat shimmer changing a little bit. Now we came up 40 clicks, so it should be, let's just take center of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, spot on. And then center of here back that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't ask for any better than that, really. That's a terrible group for this rifle, but I'm guessing that's the heat shimmer doing that to us. You know, it really does do tiny little groups like this all day long, 5 shots. And then we came down 40 clicks and we put 2 more into this 3-shot group and made that a 5-shot group. I'm going to say it's a spot-on tracking test. You can't ask for much more than that. So what I'll do now is I'll just put a new target up here, and I'll use the hash marks on the reticle just to see what hold off I have and what it equates to on target. All right, going through some ammo. Cost me a fortune, this one. Alright, I'm going to use the hash marks on the reticle to aim off the center dot. I'm just going to do 1 to the right, and then I'm going to do 1 high, and we'll just go down and check out the target just to see what those hash marks actually equate to. They're supposed to be MOA. Got an MOA target. We're at 100 yards, so it should all work out alright. Alright, so I think that first one's the 2 MOA hashes. looking at it. I'm going to hold 4 off. Now let's finish it off with 4 high. This stock is off a CTR Tika, and when I put it on this just Tika Hunter, for whatever reason that magazine just doesn't like clicking in there as good, even though I've changed the bottom metal. Alright, I'm going to aim 4 clicks, 4 MOA high, which is 2 hash marks. Righto, so here's our results. Now, just remember that was this, you know, I was aiming at the center of that square, and that's where our 0 ended up, so right on the edge, probably half an inch left. So with me aiming here, the groups probably would have been half an inch left, which these are half an inch left of where they should be perfectly. So the hash marks are pretty well perfect. Maybe I should test it at a further distance, but it is only 12 power scope. But I'm confident that those hash marks are really close to MOA. So let's give that another tick. Yeah, so it's performed really well mechanically. Now, even though there was a lot of sun mirage around today, heat mirage, it was quite easy to aim. The parallax adjustment worked quite well. Yeah, so let's see this evening if I can get out on a rabbit with the clip on with the night vision and see how it goes up with that attached. Righto, back up in the shed. Tracking test performed flawlessly, and the hash marks on the reticle seem to work out to what they are advertising in their little pamphlet. Now let's just have a quick talk about the little laser. I don't know if you can see that. Not meant to look at it, but I think it'll be right through the. So what I've done is, since I've got it all dialed in now, is I've put it back in, and I went out to 40 yards just in the range here near the house and had a look. Now, windage wise, it was pretty good, because even when I did do my bore sight, looking through the bore, I only adjusted the elevation. But what I have noticed is, now I've come back in the shed and I've pointed at my little red line that I scribed on my whiteboard, is it's just much higher than the other scopes that I've got, and I'm guessing it's just literally the height from the barrel to center of the objective changing that. And what I did do, I also did a test where I took this in and out several times, put it in, put it out, put in different sort of rotations, did it up sort of slightly different tightnesses. And I did see a bit of a variation on where it was pointing at 40 yards, up to about 2 inches difference, but not enough to miss an A4 sheet of paper. So I think if you sighted this in the evening, when the beam is more visible at distance, I would just use this at sort of 50 meters and dial the reticle over till it just points at it, basically. Maybe have the reticle slightly higher at 50. And I reckon you'd be well and truly on paper at 50. So yeah, it's doing its job, but I just think I didn't give it full
full chance at 6 meters. I think there's too much variable at 6 meters to be bore sighting. So yeah, still a good product. It just, you need to use it correctly. Take a few averages possibly would be also a good idea, because it can go in just slightly different each time. And at 40, like I said, it was moving about 2 inches. Sometimes it was dead in line, sometimes it was 2 inches off to the left, sometimes it was right height, sometimes it was a bit low. But if that's as bad as it is, with me pulling it in, pulling it out, putting it at different rotations, then I think you're going to be on money at 50 yards, no dramas. So it definitely works, it does its thing. And maybe with time I'll just get better at it. Maybe you just got to always put it in at, you know, with the button facing up when you first put it in, and tighten it from there. Maybe you just need to be more consistent so it can be consistent. But
So here's what comes in the kit. So you got your bore sighter. And then each one of these is for a different caliber, all the way up to shotgun. And then you've got, you know, your little screwdriver for adjusting a few things. A different end, obviously you might need that for bigger calibers, and a spare battery. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it all comes in this nice little package. Yeah, so anyway, it does its job. It'll get you on paper at 50, no dramas at all.
so the scope tracked really well, and the hash marks in the reticle seem to be right. I can get it nice and clear for the conditions that we're in. But I do have a couple of things I don't like about this scope already. The first thing I noticed when I mounted the scope was that where you can put the rings is very limited, especially in this section here. And therefore, to get the eye relief where it needed to be, which it seems to have a little bit of a lack of eye relief, so it's back a little bit further than I normally sort of set up a scope, but that's where it really wanted to be, especially on 12 power, which I set up all my rifle scopes on the highest magnification. And that way, if you're doing any long shooting and you're using your high magnification, that's the closest your scope's going to be. Because when you wind down magnification, you tend to get more eye relief. And no one wants to have, you know, a Weatherby eyebrow. Not that you're going to get it from a 2D3, but so I ran into an issue here where I couldn't mount this ring any further back on the Picatinny rail, but have the scope where it needed to be either. So you can see it's pretty much touching on the ball of the turrets there. So I physically can't have the scope go back any further, and I cannot move the ring any further back on that Picatinny rail. So I'm sort of snookered where I can mount that scope. Now, that's not a big problem until you go to put the clip-on on. And then, because you lose those few inches, it comes right back into your shooting comfort zone, really. So ideally this scope would be mounted further forward, but optically that's where it wants to sit. So we're going to check it out tonight with the night vision on, just to see if it can be used with the clip-on in that position, or whether you literally have to move it forward to make it comfortable to shoot at night. There might have to be a little bit of a compromise taken here to have optically, as the scope sits, working, and then with the clip-on working as well. So we're going to work that out tonight anyway, so we'll see how we go. Another thing that's caught me a couple of times is the diopter adjustment is right here, and then the power ring selector is right beside it. And I have grabbed the diopter adjuster a couple of times trying to adjust the magnification, and then I've made the reticle blurry. So it's only something you get used to after a while, but yeah. Anyway, I've grabbed it a few times, and
and twisted it, and thinking that I was changing the magnification, but I wasn't. Yeah, and then your illumination isn't really daytime illumination, so it's not bright enough to really see in full sun. That's not an issue to a lot of people. I kind of like having daytime illumination, but it's, you know, horses for courses. Yeah, I just like to have it. A lot of these sort of tactical, maybe varminty sort of scopes don't tend to have daytime illumination, but anyway, everything else seems to work fine. I've got the mounts that they supplied. They seem to have held true. It's only a 223 Remington, so it hasn't got a lot of recoil, but it's held up quite well. Clarity of the scope's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, obviously you've got the ability to change your parallax, so it gets you nice and clear. But anyway, this evening we'll see what it's like with a clip-on. Day, night vision, clip-on the front, and see if we can run around and see if we can bust some bunnies.
Righto, it's gone dark. Thrown the clip-on on. I have attached the clip-on. Went through the menu, set it up, focused everything, got the reticle nice and clear, so we should be good to go. But anyway, we'll go down and try and find some bunnies and see what it looks like in pitch black darkness. It's pretty dark tonight too, so it should be nice and good. I'll get the IR going and yeah, we'll check it out. The grass is pretty long. I can't really see their bodies. I can only see their heads. Anyway, this one here seems like I'll be able to... Well, oh yeah, there's his body there. Let's go for a headshot on this one. Obviously missed. Stand up, big fine. How am I missing? Well, there's the proof. I did get one. Now, I think the biggest problem was I didn't realise they're only 30 yards away. I must have been shooting clean over top of them. Anyway, no real excuses, but yeah, I thought they were probably 60, 70 metres away, but yeah, a lot closer than I thought. Missed that one. Oh, well, there's that brace of rabbits. Probably 50 and 70 yard shots, so nothing too extreme. But notice how quiet the rabbits are when you're not throwing a big bright light around. They definitely just sit in the grass here and just let you sort of keep shooting at them. Anyway, I've got those two, no dramas. I reckon these are 100 yards, but it's hard to say. Got him. I aimed low, but I reckon I must have hit low too. Anyway, seems to be pretty effective. I'm sure the more you use it, the more dialed in you'd get. But with the NV100, where you got that laser rangefinder and that digital reticle adjustment, it removes the guesswork on distance, and at night you sort of lose your perception of depth perception. Yeah, so you sort of kind of get a little bit muddled up, but luckily I sort of know this paddock reasonably well, and I knew they weren't too far away, so I was actually aiming a little bit low because I knew I'm sort of dialed in exactly at 100. I thought I might be shooting a little bit high at sort of 50, but anyway, those both perfect chest shots. Yeah, so I got the job done. But anyway, I might just go back up the paddock there and just have a look at some kangaroos and cows and stuff, and just see what sort of distances you can comfortably see them at. Yeah, probably made enough noise down here for tonight. So I'll let the neighbours get to bed. Got these two rabbits here. They're 200 yards away. I reckon there's a chance I could get them. Let's have a crack, eh? I'm just off my tripod at the moment. I'll drop down to the bipod. So if they're 200, I've got about 3 inches of drop. I need one to sit still for me. 3 inches. Those first hash marks are 4. So I might just put the hash mark low. I've got no rear rest here either, guys. It's hard to tell where it went. That's no fun. Another one here. What's 2 MRI? Yeah. Righto, this might give you a bit of an idea if you're hunting pigs or something. That's a wombat. That's a good couple 100 yards away. I'll be plenty happy to take that shot. If I was a bit more steady. Got him. Yeah, that's pretty good. I reckon that's at least 200 yards. Plenty clear enough to shoot him. So if you're hunting pigs, no dramas. Righto. Pretty big buckaroo here. Power. Three. He's only about 70 metres away. Now, trust me when I say this firearm is unloaded, because these are stud Hereford cattle that my neighbour allows me to hunt on his property. So those rabbits are out of the question, but just giving you an idea of what we can see. Can zoom in a bit and clear that up. Now I've only just sort of worked out what I'm doing here, so that's pretty clear, isn't it? These guys are about 150. Those rabbits would be 200. I can get them a bit clearer too, I reckon. That's about the limit. Yeah, right there. You know, I'm pretty impressed with it actually. Let's just winding the magnification back. Give you an idea. See how far away they are. That's 3 power. You can only just make out the eyeballs of those rabbits. Background there's a rabbit. Keep grabbing the wrong ring. Alright. Not too bad.
Rightio, so let's wrap up our final thoughts on the Oneleaf RapidFire 3-12 by 56 scope and the NV100 night vision clip-on. I'm super impressed with the scope. It tracked perfectly. The hash marks on the reticle work out to what they should be. The clarity of the scope. Now, I didn't film through the scope because it really gives you no idea what I'm looking at trying to film through the scope, so I don't bother trying to do it. The focus comes in really good. The reticle's nice and clear. It's quite a fine reticle, so you can aim at small targets quite easily at distance. The zoom ring is beautifully smooth. The only complaint I've got is that the diopter adjustment's right beside it, and I tend to grab it when I'm trying to change the magnification. But that's just, I just got to get familiar with this scope, and then I won't do that anymore. The parallax adjustment goes down to really close, like 15 yards. So that's kind of cool. So you can put this on a 22 with some subsonics and stuff, and really focus it in nice and close for shooting bunnies and that sort of stuff. It's got the illuminated reticle that works really well late in the evening and into the night. It is not daytime compatible, but anyway, that's just how it's designed. And yeah, the functionality of it, I cannot fault it actually. The only thing it is that I have found is it does have a short eye relief, and it has this very narrow window for your rear ring. That's the only complaint I've got about the scope. everything else is Mickey Mouse. So if you're in the market for a budget type scope that can do a fair few things, check them out. There will be a link in the description with a discount code. Now with the clip-on, the function of it, it's all very simple. There's really not a lot to set up in the menu. The only thing I changed was the volume was on 60, not 100, so I've changed that to 100. Yeah, literally, you don't really have to do much at all to get it up and running. The record function is just on and off. And what I found at the end of the night after using it for a couple of hours is using your parallax adjustment is sort of critical to getting everything in focus. But once I worked that out, everything was mint, to the point where I'd probably prefer to shoot it over the NV100, which is just a complete digital setup. But this has a lot more features, which I didn't miss nearly as many rabbits with this thing because it had that reticle that adjusts with the rangefinder. So that's a cool feature that you get with that. So if you're doing sort of distance shooting, that's going to get you there. Whereas this, if you put it on a caliber that like a 223 shoots pretty flat out to 150, but if you're trying to poke out a little bit further on rabbit sized animals, I reckon foxes would be in heaps of trouble at 200. But you just got to know your caliber, know your drops, and use those hash marks, which you'll see in the footage. Well, you would have seen in the footage already. You could comfortably aim at rabbits at 200 yards, so a fox would be in a whole heap of trouble. Yeah, and you can adjust the IR beam here to really narrow it in, and at 200 yards, like those rabbits were quite bright, quite easy to aim at. So yeah, look, the clip-on works. Now it did seem to be a long way back. You can see it there, and I would move it sort of one increment forward on that Picatinny rail if it was going to stay on there. Just to give you just a little bit more, but I didn't actually find it too bad, to be honest with you. And that was shooting prone. I shot off the bipod all night. But in saying that, this is a 223, so there is very minimal recoil. If you were shooting a larger caliber, I'd suggest you put a brake on it so that you don't get that push back onto your eye. But yeah, as a package, I think it's a great kit that you could have for nighttime shooting, that you can, instead of having a digital display during the daylight hours, you've got a normal optical scope. The features that it have are all good and they all work faultlessly. I really can't pick anything on it that would say don't buy it. It's a scope that, if you're on a budget and this is your budget, I reckon it's up there. So anyway, it's a big thumbs up from me for Oneleaf to make such a reasonably priced scope with the features that it has. Now, it sort of might have looked like the laser bore sighter didn't really work, but what it was is I didn't really set it up properly. So now that I know, you've just got to take a bit of an average when you put it in there, do it a few times, and just center that scope. I'd suggest at 50 meters, not at 6 meters. It's just too close. You need to push it out a little bit further. And that laser beam in full sunlight is very difficult to see, but if you have your target in a shadow, you'll pick it up, or you leave it to the evening and that laser will just, you'll see it clear as a bell. So I'd suggest that you use the laser bore sighter at 50 yards initially, and just what I would do is just put it in, adjust the scope, pull it out, put it in a different angle, do it again, and just take a bit of an average. Do it 2 or 3 times, and you'll definitely be on an A4 sheet of paper at 50 metres. And if you have, you know, a slightly bigger target, I reckon you'll be on at 100. Yeah, so still love the idea of this little kit. You know, it caters for all the calibers, so you only need one kit and it does them all. So if you think you need one, jump in the description. There will be a link there to take you straight over to the website. But anyway, there we go. That's my final thoughts. I think for the money, you're getting a fair bit of scope. And this thing allows you to do some pretty cool nighttime shooting. Those bunny rabbits have no idea what's going on because you're not flashing that big light around. They feel comfortable in the dark, especially a nice dark night like last night. So yeah, if you're looking to do a bit of varminting or a bit of pest control, I reckon that setup there is going to get you a long way down the road, and you'll have a ton of fun with it, and you wouldn't have spent a whole heap of money. So anyway, it's all a big thumbs up from me. We'll leave it at that, and I'll catch you on the next one.